Oh.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the last episode in which you will hear my voice for the first time for the next 2 years. How's everybody doing? This is episode 399. We are going to be completely revamping the look of the visual podcast, as well as a little bit on the audio side. So if you're watching this on premium, expect a totally different look as we relaunch the Hazmat Guys for the fourth time for episode 400.
Truth. That's true.
Truth.
Yeah, we're gonna. We I gotta say, we said we were gonna just like put a coat of paint on, but we've actually we kind of like we did the molding, we did new floors, we did like it
Everything.
We did quite a bit, and we're kind of proud of it. So that's why we modified our show. We were going to do a double, and then we were like, "Holy crap, we can't just split the double show." And like change over in the middle of it.
Yeah, we can't have like the old version and the new version in a double. That would It doesn't make any sense.
No.
That would drive you nuts for the remainder of your podcasting career. Yeah, 100%.
It would. So what we are doing is we are clearing out the old mailbag, and we got 4. I have 2. What do you got? 2?
I've got 2. Yep.
Oh. So we have 4 questions that we'll answer in short order, and then we're going to start off the 400th with a fresh coat of paint and some cool new topics. I think you'll like it.
I think so too.
I think you'll like it. So, listen, we the next happy hour, 4th Thursday of the month, 1900 hours Eastern Standard Time, is always on thehazmatguys.com/happy. We had quite a few guys on there last time. By all means, come in there, bring your problems, bring your questions, bring your scenarios. What were closed passion?
What were the we don't want to discuss who and what, but what was the general topics? Like what kinds of things get discussed and hashed out? I know in sessions that I've been in there has been talk of like how to deal with administration.
Oh.
Like on like a, how do we get funding? How do we get this? What do you guys do for this? Like it's interesting because it's conversation like it would be if you were just sitting with a couple guys at the bar and nobody was overhearing it, because it's not recorded. It's not live in any way, shape, or form. I mean, other than us talking. So we can dive into like but I had a chief that did this, or I had a commissioner that did this, or my town council wants this and they're not giving us this for this. How do we overcome that? Yeah. Oh, I know a guy who did that. Let me get you in touch with him. Let me get your email, blah, blah, blah. Some very productive conversations that way.
We had Hazcat Hacks, and we actually had the master Todd Burton on, and he was spitting fire.
Oh,
it was a good one.
I wish you had recorded that one. You should have texted me like, come on.
Dude, get on this thing, man. Yeah, so good times come on that thing and get with us. And the last conference that we're going to is Massachusetts in September. Going to be a whiz bang, man. It's going to be up at Gillette Stadium. I don't know where the hell that is. I don't know what town it is, but look up Gillette Stadium. That's where we'll be. It's loading up for bear. A lot of classes. We're bringing out some heavy hitters for that conference. We're actually getting a booth. We're doing some cool stuff with some drones up there. So check that stuff up. And I was just at the firehouse, and they asked me to mention it. Go out to the FDNY's shirt locker.
Ooh.
You go to FDNY Hazmat 1, the number 1.com, and get your swag.
Yeah, the FDNY swag. I forgot all about that shirt locker. We used to mention it all the time, and we just whatever.
I throw it in there every once in a while. So,
all right.
What do you want to start off with?
All right. Well, I'm gonna start this one off. I'm gonna start this off because it's actually a little bit of both a question that we got about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And it's kind of interesting because it ties into an episode, not only an episode that I've been working on, but also a conference lecture, as well as a possible resource science officer, tech ref, whatever you want to call it, class. And the question was, do you ever think that AI will get to the point that we can use it as research in our chemicals?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think there's no doubt in that.
100%. I remember having this conversation at work, and the guys were like, "Oh, come on, what could it really do? What could it really do?" Well, I whipped out the Open GBT, and we started asking it some questions, and the guys were like, holy shit. Like literally, they were like, how did it do that? Like,
Right.
how did it tell me what I should be doing? And I was like, I'm telling you, it's amazing. Now, it's in its infancy, so I would not recommend like doing tactical decisions off of it.
No.
But it's definitely, I would use it right now to the point of I'm going to throw stuff in there. And if it says something that I didn't expect, I'm going to then focus some research on that to double check it.
I like that. I like that. I think the AI language, I think the query of it is going to be something reticent of like the Boolean understanding of Google searching, right? Whereas if you put in, garbage truck, but you don't want truck, so you'd put garbage space minus truck, it would know don't look for trucks, look for garbage. And if you said garbage truck, but I want both of those words in that order, you put quotes around it. And so if you got better at the search technique, your queries were instant. You were banging out queries left and right. I think it's going to be the same thing with AI. I've been doing a lot of research on how to query certain things. I've been playing with it. I want to see how it works. There's a ton of stuff about this.
It is amazing how just a small change in your language or even a change in your request can take and totally veer in a different direction, and it gets you a couple of different answers. Like you really need to be very specific with it, and it will give you very specific answers back.
Yeah. Like I think, and I wouldn't mind being the house of it. I have no problem. Maybe making like some type of message board where a sharing of technique to mine the information. Like I wanted all the dump truck fires in a 10-mile radius. This is how I asked the question. This is what it returned.
Right.
And so you can be like, that is a great technique. I love that way he asked that. I'm going to put it in my little book. I'm going to put this little way he did that, because I think there's going to be a lot of stuff, and everybody just kind of shares their crap and be like, holy crap, we can actually make like a helpful thing, a doc.
Right.
Like, so that like it could be sitting there on a clipboard at, the tech ref with, like you said, the resource or whatever. And he could be like, I got to ask for the 50 people to call when there's a spill in the in a waterway, and if he types it the right way, it'll give him all the answers.
Yeah. What are the regulations to this? Right. Like, so you're on some kind of a transportation incident, and you've got no idea. You need to check to see if something's been packaged correctly. Hey, what does the DOT say about X, Y, and Z?
Right.
And it spits out an answer. And even if you don't, even if you don't trust it, it gives you a starting place to then go do additional searches online.
Yep.
Because it's giving you ideas, and then you can double check those ideas. So in no way, shape, or form would I ever do tactical decisions solely based upon it, but it is a tool in the toolbox. And if you start using it now, you absolutely can start developing a technique to be able to parse out information that you need.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of AI coming.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be like, if these companies are not doing it because they're worried about the temperature of the people and everything. Listen, I hate to burst everybody's bubble. I don't know many people that are still going to books.
No.
Like phones are the thing now. Like nobody, what if the cell phone? What if an EMP goes off? Player, if that happens, like
the rig isn't responding to the hazmat run that you're going on.
Yeah,
because your rig is all going to be fried. It's fried. Like society comes to EMP happens. Society comes to a halt. We are literally starting from scratch, and it would be like the burning of Alexandria library that set the world back 1,000 years in its science and technology. Like that is the estimate. That was the amount of information that was lost when that library burnt down. It set science and math back 1,000 years. We would be set back another 1,000 years.
So I don't think so. So anyway, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
All right.
More to follow. I have a feeling that's going to be a kind of a within 3 years. I have a feeling that's going to be like our batteries right now.
The AI.
Maybe 2 years. Oh yeah, well, that's all we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. Because it's going to become, you know what's going to happen, and hopefully we do this, is we develop some kind of an app or a program that translates what we want as an intermediary, so somebody can come in and say, I want to know about lithium ion batteries.
Mhm.
And that program understands that we're coming from the first responder point of view and can figure out how to ask the AI from that point of view. It is what it is.
I have one. This is the second mailbag. I have one, and it seems kind of a simple thing, but I think it's worthy of a discussion. Is everybody kind of understands propane is liquefied propane gas? Okay, great. Does the same rules in general apply to other gases, whether they're flammable or chlorine, ammonia? Does the same set of rules in general apply to ammonia? What do you think?
All right, so I'm going to tell you my guess. It's an educated guess.
Okay.
All right, and I'll tell you my reason why, and you can totally throw it. You can pick it apart all you want. This is, totally off the cuff. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes for this reason. Physics is physics.
Yeah.
And the chemical physical properties, the things that transpire when propane leaks, when ammonia leaks, when things are doing phase changes, when heat is being conducted, when entropy and entropy are coming together and happening, those are physics based. And the chemistry isn't important. It is the physics is the same no matter what. You have latent heats of vaporization. You have transfers and delta temperatures. All those things are what matters. Now, will they react the same way as far as like, okay, this one is going to work a little bit better. This technique might work a little bit better because the heat that's given off for X, Y, and Z is a little bit different. Like I can create an ice dam better in an ammonia situation than I could have propane. I totally pulled that out of my ass. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm giving it as an example, because of small characteristics of the molecule and the physics thereof. Yes, there's going to be minute changes, but I think overall, a lot of the techniques can be used are the same because physics is physics.
I agree. One thing I'm thinking of, ambient temperature is going to drive the pressure.
Right.
Like that's just how it is. Anytime you have something that is under pressure, and that's why it's liquefied, that is going to be driven by ambient temperature.
Right.
So I would say I can completely concur with what Mike says, and I'll email this guy back with that, is that in general, things are driven in a similar plane because physics is physics. And like if you're doing the same technique and it's something that wants to live, and that's the kind of a key thing, is it wants to live in the gas phase, and we have forced it by pressure into a container, well then basically the same rules apply.
Right.
Its
pressure is going to be based upon its vapor pressure. Its vapor pressure is going to be based upon ambient temperature. How cold that product gets is going to be essentially based upon its vapor pressure or its boiling point, which they're all like, if you haven't figured out all these things are connected in these weird little loops, then you need to start doing a little bit more of the work. But
what? Did I say something?
Hey, a little technical difficulties, but we're back as always, and we're headed into the third question. So what was the third mail question, Bob?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I got a second. I got a third one. This is my second one. Somebody was asking about spectroscopy in general, specifically about Raman and FTIR, and how is there a way to kind of remove the machine and look at spectroscopy and kind of figure out what it is without a machine? And I said, yeah, that's like OG, man. That's like how they did it before the machines took over the world with Skynet.
Right.
So
before AI took over.
Right. So I actually I have a couple of books from college, and they're ridiculous. And you can probably find them if you look around real hard. But this is one of those ones that I like to keep close to me. Is something called Vidraine charts.
Okay.
And they are, man, I always forget how they spell it. It's Vidraine, I believe. But the Vidraine charts are little, and I'm going to hold it up to the camera, even though this is a really classless way of doing it. Next week we'll have better things, but you can see there's little, there's known bands, right? So like in the infrared type stuff, you can see that, the hydrocarbon spike is about 3,000 and the alcohol spikes at like 1650, and aldehydes will have a big spike at 1740 and ketones will have it 1715. So based upon where the spike is, you can almost look at it and say, well, there's a ketone, there's an aldehyde, there's an organic acid. Oh, and there's a big water. Water is like the 3350 to 2800.
And it's a big wide.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Yeah, it's a huge
like a big
wide
anthill. But you can basically do some crazy stuff in here, and I wouldn't mind. Well, I know what everybody say. Well, where the hell did you get it from? I got this from our good friend Toby Bevilacqua. My apologies, Toby. And Hazmat TV. He put this out in 2016, and it was a thing called Tactical Skull Sessions, a little book he made. And I don't know if he's selling it anymore. I don't know if he's got it anymore, but if you go to hazmattv.com, I would bet that he's got them for sale. And if he doesn't, ask him if he can make them for sale, because I tell you what, this book is pretty good for the down and dirty. I'm not a big fan for condensing the nonsense, because there's only so much you can condense it.
Right.
This book is actually pretty freaking good. It gives you.
All right. So here in literally what you're holding in your hand is my disdain for no listen, it's my disdain for things like the Raman and the FTIR, because what you're holding is extremely valuable information to understand the meter. We go around and we teach these metering classes, and we try to get people to understand what the meter is saying. And understand what the meter is saying, you have to understand how it works. Yeah. Nobody wants to take the time to learn the details of how it works. So people look at this graph and they're like, literally all they know of FTIR is push a button, wait, it gives you like some squiggly lines come out and it gives you a thing. But if that's all you understand, you're not understanding. You can do 90% of what it can do. Okay, whatever. But when you start to dive in and you're able to look at something, right? So FTIR has thousands of database points, right? Thousands of chemicals in it. Well, how many times do we get something that's dirty, contaminated, and it ends up throwing off the peaks and the values, and these machines compare different peaks and values. Okay. So in the times that the FTIR doesn't work, very similar to when we walk in with the PID and the PID doesn't work, we understand the PID enough to go, okay, if I know something is here and it's not on my PID, it therefore has an IP greater than 10.6.
Right.
But we're not taking these unknowns and doing the next step in diving into it. We should be looking at all of this information. Mm-hmm. We should be turning around and going, okay, FTIR doesn't know what it is, but I'm going to look and manually compare spikes. Yep. Oh, look at this. It is a hydrocarbon based. It is an allele. It has a triple bond. It has a benzene ring. Like, these little bits of information can drive us extremely far in an unknown, especially when we have things that, the graph isn't right, or there may be some contamination, so the peaks are a little bit off. I think it is fundamentally important to be able to parse it through.
Harumph. I agree. It's you know what? That's one of those things where I brought it up around a conference room table, and guys were like, "What the hell is a Vidraine chart?" And I'm like, "Holy crap! That's something we never even gone through." Because it's like, oh, they don't need to know about that stuff. It's like that's all you do in college chemistry. Like you play with Vidraine charts all the time. Like they don't even want you looking because the majority of stuff in the lab doesn't have a database made for the field. It's like you got to go into the books and figure out, oh, this peak right here means a carbon and oxygen hydrogen. Like it's like, oh shit, and it's a planar, it's in a pyramidal, it's in a double bond, crazy.
Is there a correlation in those graphs? Because you went a lot further in college with those charts than I did. Is there a correlation in those graphs between the abundancy of that bond? So like if you've got a hydrocarbon that has a whole bunch of CH bonds, is there going to be a different peak than a hydrocarbon that has less CH bonds?
Deep one. Yeah, because it doesn't just come down to the bond type. It also comes down to the geometry and the angles.
Okay.
So the difference between a CH bond at like 109.5 degrees and a CH bond at 180 degrees, there's a measurable difference in it. And so instead of seeing it pop off at 100, it'll come off at 103. I'm making up a number.
Right.
That was like the frequency. And you'd be like, wait a second, it's 103? That's how it knows that it's propane versus cyclopropane.
So so it's not necessarily a shift in its abundance. It's a shift in the peak.
It's
frequency of the peak.
It's the peak itself is determined by geometry and type. The amplitude is determined by quantity of those two. And I'm saying that overly simplistic. However, that basic premise works. It'll unlock a couple of questions you probably had in the back of your head, oh, good listener out there, about how the hell does it know the difference between propane and cyclopropane? Well, it does it by bond angles and bond types. And the more of them it sees, the more sure it is with the amplitude. That's how it works.
So when we do something like a reach back, that's literally what the reach back person is doing.
Yep.
They're taking a more detailed version of that chart, and they're sitting there going, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this.
This is kind of a little bit of a rabbit hole, because what if that we said it shifted from 100 to 103, right? And that's how it knows it's cyclopropane. But what happens if something is resting at 103 and it's covering it? Ooh, that's another episode. We can't go that far. We can't go there. It's the bridge too far.
No, how? Why? You can't tease me like that. That's right.
We don't have time.
We don't even have time for the next question.
Oh,
all right.
My God.
We'll have to bridge that into the 400 episodes.
Yeah, we'll get. You know what? That one's a pretty good one. We'll maybe I'll write up an episode on that, but that might be a little bit. That might be a little too nerdy, because like I want to. Some people have mentioned to me that we get a little too deep into the weeds and we should go back for a little bit more operations level stuff. So
I don't think we get too deep into the weeds.
I think we make the weeds very accessible.
I think we let people know that the weeds are there.
I agree with that.
And I have to be honest with you. Yes. For 90% of the work that gets done out there, sometimes we go beyond the box. But if you don't understand the next level depth when you have that run that things aren't making sense, that's when you're going to really want that extra 10% of information.
I like that. Well, we're going to forego the premium for all you snooty people out there. To get ready, I have to finish building these tables and chairs. The lighting has to be done. I have to miter and scarf join all these boxes. It is going to be an all-night affair. I have my trusty crew right behind the brick wall behind me, and we are ready to rock. So they just need me to wrap this thing up so we can get this thing going and paint.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't our 400th episode going to be free for everybody to see?
Yes, it is a completely free video. It will be not only on our platform, but I think we might even sprinkle it on YouTube.
Ooh.
Yeah, we might throw
releasing
out
it,
there.
releasing it to the hounds.
Yes, just free reign and let them rip it up.
Oh, all right, sounds good. See you next week.
All right, guys.